Hello, this is Miss McCauley. Today we're going to be working on how to solve multiplication equations, part 2. Mrs. Tiglis will finish this video with you. Make sure to complete the note check when you finish.
Let's try the next one here. In 2004, Penn Hadow and Simon Murray walked 680 miles to the South Pole. The trip took 58 days. Suppose they traveled the same distance each day. Write and solve a multiplication equation to find out how many miles they traveled each day. Well, let's first define our variable. Okay, that helps us know how to set up the problem. So in this case, I'm going to use m, and that is going to represent the number, sorry about that, my stylus. Okay, number of miles traveled each day, because we don't know what that was. Okay, but we do know that they walked a total of 680 miles. So they walked 680 miles, and they did that in 58 days, but we don't know how many miles they walked each day. So this is how we would have to set up our equation. Okay, now if you thought of it, if you set it up like this, they walked 58 miles each day for a total of 680 miles. These mean the same thing. You could write either numbers or either expression on either side of the equation. Okay, you could write, because it's an equation, it means both sides are equal, so it doesn't matter what's on what side. Okay, so I'm going to erase that so we can solve this. So then to solve it, what we're going to do is we're trying to get the m by itself. Again, the m means the number of miles each day, so we're going to divide both sides by 58. You can go ahead and use a calculator to divide this. 680 divided by 58, once I do that in my calculator, I got 11.7241379. Kept going on. I'm just going to round to the nearest hundredth, and so it should be 11 and 72 hundredths of a mile each day. Okay, so they walked over 11 miles, almost 12 miles each day. Okay, now I did mention that these might get a little bit harder, and so I don't want you to be scared when you see decimals here. So the next one that I want to look at is this equation. 3 and 28 hundredths times x equals 19 and 68 hundredths. Now, just because there's decimals doesn't mean anything has changed. Okay, we're still going to do this problem the same way. We have to do the same thing to both sides of the equation. We're going to divide both sides by 3 and 28 hundredths. And again, you must show this. You must show that you're doing the same thing to both sides. This is going to cancel, and we're left with x equals 6. Okay, you can go ahead, you could type that in a calculator as well, or you could do it by hand. You guys all know how to divide decimals. So 19 and 68 hundredths divided by 3 and 28 hundredths gives you 6. Now again, it's going to be important to check your answers, and the way you check it is you first write the original equation, then you're going to replace your variable with whatever your answer was. In this case it would be a 6, and see if you get the same thing on both sides. So make sure your sentence is true. They showed the work there, and again you could use the calculator, and 3 and 28 hundredths times 6, you should be getting 19 and 68 hundredths. Okay, I would like you to please solve these last 3 problems, and by the last 3 I mean E, F, and G. And I'd like you to follow the instructions. Solve each equations and check your solution. Okay, if you need to add another page, go ahead and do that to show all of your work. When you are doing your practice and you're working through this concept, if you're not showing what you're doing to both sides of the equation, you are going to have to redo it. Okay, because we're setting you up to solve much more difficult things in the future, and so you've got to learn it the right way now so that you don't make mistakes going forward. And especially with the decimals, most of you probably couldn't solve those mentally, even if you were trying really hard anyway. So make sure that you're showing your work for every problem you do, and that you're doing the same thing to both sides of the equation. Okay, let's take a look at letter E first and see how you guys did. What we're going to do here is first divide both sides by 2 and 25/100ths. Okay, and this is going to cancel out, so we are left with n equals, I can go ahead and use my calculator to divide this, and it comes out to a nice even n equals 3. Now, I said that you had to check it, right? So hopefully you did that part as well. The way that you show your work for checking, I'm going to do it over here and then probably erase to show letter F. To check it, what you have to do is rewrite the original problem. Okay, except now, now where you see the n, we're going to substitute in the value that we think it is, that we just solved. So we're going to do 2 and 25/100ths times, that's a decimal point, times 3, and we're saying, is this true? Does that equal 6.5? Well, go ahead and put that in your calculator, or do it by hand. 2 and 25/100ths times 3 does in fact equal 6 and 75/100ths, so we know we did it right. Okay? Let me go ahead and erase that. Okay, just kidding. Okay, for F, you should have gotten B is equal to 5, and for G, you should have gotten Y equals 9. Now, I didn't show all of the steps for that, but again, you should have shown for letter F that you divided both sides of the equation by 1 and 7/10, and then you also needed to check your solution. And for G, you should have divided both sides of the equation by 6 and 15/100ths to give you a final answer of Y equals 9. Okay, if you have any questions now, or are unclear what to do to continue or how to show your work, please make sure that you ask for some help before you move on. Okay? Hope you're understanding this well, and then you can go ahead and complete the note check if you're feeling comfortable and continue on through the concept. Thanks for listening.